Welcome back to another Warhammer the Old World Battle Report. Today we have my Royal Clans list, same one as the last few games, facing off against some Wood Elves. Actually, I changed my list slightly, and I took off the Vanguard rune banner and instead put in the Fear banner on the Longbeards, so they cause fear. I don't think it will come into effect this game in any way. So yeah, playing against Wood Elves, he had a Glade Lord on Dragon with the Annoyance of Netlings and the other Spite, and then an Ogre Blade and Talisman of Protection, I'm pretty sure. Then a level 4 on a Warhawk with Elementalism. An Older Familiar, so he had Windblast, Plague of Rust. Then he had a unit of Wild Riders, a unit of 3 Treekin, a unit of Blade Guard, a unit of her Glade Riders, then 2 units of Blade Guard, a unit of Deepwood Scouts, and then another unit of Glade Riders, and then a Glade Captain on a Stag and a Treeman behind this house here, and we were just playing a pitch battle. So we rolled, and the dwarves won to go first, and I just moved the Longbeards up a little bit. The Iron Drakes turned. I have it over here. I think I shot him. He used evasive, but I think a couple were still within range. And then so I killed a couple. The Anvil of Doom killed off this unit of Glade Riders, and then the Stone Thrower got a direct hit onto the dragon, doing I think 2 wounds to it. So yeah, good shooting turn 1 from the dwarves. The Wood Elf turn, he started pushing his Great Stag and Treeman up the flank, moved his characters up behind this wood, cast a wood out, Tree Singing, New Forest, and then cast the Elemental Spirits Vortex. He felt like he'd messed up his movement a bit, blocking in his Wild Riders back here, so that I think he did end up moving them maybe a bit more than this. I didn't quite catch the very end of the turn, but they were in a position where they had to sort of maneuver around other units to get out. And his shooting, he just targeted, I think, Iron Drakes, killed a couple. He was running pretty much everyone with Arcane Bodkins. So the dwarf turn, I was unsure what to do with my Longbeards in this matchup. I think he just avoids the unit if the king and the banner bearer are in there, and focuses on trying to kill off the other stuff and just avoid me. So I was thinking that I could make them a more tempting target by putting the king and the banner. They hopped out of that unit and into this one, and then that makes this unit less of a tempting target for the dragon to go into. So I moved the 2 characters over, and then marched this unit up, and then got off the Move Again rune from the Anvil, so they marched again. And my whole plan here was I was trying to trap the Tree Man in a spot where it couldn't get away, and I'd be able to fight it. And I think that didn't have too many other shots from anything else. So he decided to go in with the Treeman and the Glade Captain, and I had forgotten that the Stag has first charge, so he takes away all my rank bonuses. So this was actually a scarier combat than I thought. I thought I had pretty much had it on lock with my Stag combat res. but I was down 2, but then he proceeded to roll very poorly for his attacks into them. And I think that's some armor saves I made. Because I believe, I chose to use hand weapon shields because I was starting to be worried and wanted to be able to use shield wall. So yeah, made a few 6-up saves. He only killed 3. And what happens, and then I think I maybe even managed a few wounds back. And what ends up happening is the treeman used stubborn, or the treeman fell back in good order, almost to the tail edge. The stag just gave ground, and I followed up, but used drill to expand my frontage a bit. So that was, I mean, he's lucky he didn't run off the board, but also it's unfortunate for him now that I think he would have preferred the stag to go back further and the treeman to be the one that was still engaged. He pushed his 2 characters out behind the protection of this tree, which was a pretty risky move because there's a chance I can dispel that. But yeah, he thought that would put him in a good position. And these wild Blade Riders are just sort of moving into the woods, shooting, and then using reserve move to move back. He's focusing his shooting and his magic onto the dwarves, killed off a few more of the Iron Drakes. So then in the dwarf turn, the Longbeards kill the Glade Captain, overrun into the Tree Man. The Iron Drakes reform a bit, and I do manage to dispel the tree. So the Glade Lord, not Glade Lord, the Tree Singer was left in a fairly vulnerable position. And so between, I think the Iron Drake shot him, but he used evasive to move back, so I only got a few shots. But then the Anvil was able to cast its rune, and he failed the dispel, and that killed off the Glade Lord. So that was, a lucky turn of events. I think he regretted putting him in that exposed position, but he wanted to be in deny range of the Anvil. So yeah, that was a lucky swing. This was a lucky swing. The dwarves are feeling pretty happy. So the Wood Elf turn, he doesn't want to commit the dragon into the Iron Drakes with the king, so he flies over behind this building. The Wild Riders march up to get closer, and his shooting is continuing to whittle down the Iron Drakes, but at a very slow pace. He was rolling pretty well to wound, but with the banner in there now, and I got the rune buff was going off on them to either giving them reroll armor saves, or this time I got off with the higher power. So it was reeling on armor saves and +1 save, so he had a lot of saves to get through to actually cause a wound to them. And then the Longbeards, they didn't kill the tree man, but they forced it to give ground off the board. So then they reformed. And into the dwarf turn, the Longbeards just tried to move away from the tail edge a little bit, but didn't have anything to charge. The Iron Drakes moved forward and potentially moved forward again from the Anvil and shot off 3 of the Wild Riders. That was pretty good. He had shot at the pony cart at one point, and it was down to 1 wound left. So it just went and hid behind a building. And then he committed the dragon into the Longbeards. The Wild Riders could have declared a charge too, but they failed it. They didn't roll high enough, so they just moved forward, I think, like 3 or 4 out of the woods. It's too bad for them because I think that they also do have first charge, so if they live, the Longbeards were going to be in even more trouble, but this is a challenge, so I lose. The champion dies, and they just gave ground, I believe. Into the dwarf turn, the dwarves shoot off the last of the Wild Riders, and the Longbeards continue to give ground. Now they're actually losing models to the dragon, so the combat's going worse and worse for them. He's continuing to shoot at the Iron Drakes. The dragon, yeah, this is the last turn. The dragon kills off the last of the Longbeards. Maybe it doesn't kill them off, but they break and run, and he fails his leadership to restrain, so pursues, wipes them out, but he can't. He's left where he can't look and declare any other charges on his turn. So, yeah, shooting a bit more. The Iron Drakes are still there, so we called the game there as a slight win for the Dwarves. We lost the Iron Drake unit, but that was it. Or the Longbeard unit, but that was our only loss. And killed the Treeman, the Glade Captain, the Spellsinger, the Wild Riders, and 2 units of Glade Guard, or 2 units of Glade Riders and a unit of Glade Guard. So, yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, he was a few more hot rolls on the Iron Drakes, and that unit could have been gone too. We didn't end up doing a boss fight just between the captain, the king, and the Glade Lord on the dragon at the end, which the king won with 1 wound left in the second round of combat before the dragon got to do its stomps. So it was a close fight. Good game, fun to play against Wood Elves. A pretty new army for my opponent. He's recently switched over to playing the Wood Elves. So, yeah, they're an interesting problem. It's sort of two very different list archetypes. I'm sort of running a Death Star with 2 big units, and he's got a bunch of small things and a dragon. So, it's a fun game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.